Episode 160 of Mastering Local Marketing. What great salespeople notice, part one. What customers reveal through their questions. Ever notice this pattern? Two customers can ask the same exact question, but only one of them is seriously thinking about buying. Great salespeople learn to hear the difference. They don't simply answer the question. They listen for what the customer is really trying to figure out. We're going to play psychological word games today, and Matt Hansen is just the man to do it. He's the digital marketing professor and a digital marketing guru, and the star of Mastering Local Marketing. How you doing?
I'm good. How was vacation?
It was good, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you filling in and doing what needed to be done. I don't even know what you did while I was on vacation, right? You had a couple of people?
We had Chris Barbold on, and we discussed direct mail and how it's kind of making a comeback.
It
and
is.
So it's a really good episode. I think people will learn a lot of different things, but yeah.
One day we'll do a segment on what is making a comeback. I mean, direct mail, I notice a lot more now. It's actually the only mail I get, really. I don't get any bills mailed or anything, right? Do you? I mean, it's mostly online, right?
I still get bills occasionally, but it's just auto payment kind of clarification.
It's like, hey, and then you got to go on the website and look all the way around. Quit sending me that paper bill, and it takes a little while. It took me a while to find it for my bank statement, NIPSCO, and that kind of stuff. But in a weird way, our local media and local content, I shouldn't say local media, local content is being produced more and is much more palatable for companies in the last maybe 6 months to start advertising on. And I don't know what happened. It's just direct mail. I mean, I don't know if people just want things that are local or what, but or are they just tired of paying Facebook? I don't know what it is, but there is a switch.
Yeah. What's old is new. It always comes back, right?
Exactly. The question behind the questions. All right, so we get this all the time. Somebody calls up, hey, how much is it? Well, I'm like, well, what do you want? I mean, what are you looking at? Well, how much is it? Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, I have like 5 different media outlets. If you just want to buy radio ads, it's this much, this and this. But really, what are you looking to do? A lot of times, they're just asking how much it is, and then, they don't want anything else, and I don't know what that means. What does it mean?
Yeah, those aren't, again, we're talking about what great salespeople do and how they will listen to what customers are saying in their questions. And what you're getting with that is more of information-based, just collecting different things. So I've done that many times. I've called a variety of mediums and media vehicles that are out there, and how much does this cost? What's the average? And I do those searches pretty regularly on Google as well. But you're trying to get an idea of where something should fall. Now, does that mean that they're ready to buy? Absolutely not. So when you get those, somebody may be asking you about questions about pricing and all that, but they're probably not looking to buy from you at that point. So people that will jump in and, I got to sell this person, they're not ready. They're just getting some information, and a lot of people will hold their pricing near and dear to them and not give it out. But, that's where the questions start to come in, and you start to feel out whether or not they are comparing you to a competitor, right? So if you are a certain price and your competitor's a little bit more, maybe they're asking these questions, right? Like they're trying to get a comparable. I've had this happen to me many, many, many times throughout my career with clients, as well as the marketing that I was running as well. And, it's just, you've got to realize that they're asking questions for a reason. And you can spend the next 15 minutes trying to get more information out of that individual, or you can quickly realize, like, okay, they're just information gathering at this point. So let it be. Let them gather whatever information you can provide. Maybe you have a pricing section on your website or whatever it may be, but don't waste huge amounts of time with people that are just information gathering at that point, because they're not going to buy on that single phone call.
So the phone call, actually, I'll give you an example. I sold one yesterday. person called in, this is what I have. We have an event on July 28th. I think it's July 15th yesterday. So I go, whoa, what are you going to do? And all right, well, how much is it? That was all they wanted to know. I go, well, I don't know, what you got to give in this very crunch of a time. You have to give me some sort of budget so I'm not going to go through a whole proposal process
Right.
for $700 or something. And, that's what they're used to. And I basically said, well, that's how that's got to be. All right, this is what I want, blah, blah, blah. So that process was cut down. It was like, no, there's nothing. It gets done right now on this phone call, or
Right.
it's not going to get done, right?
Yeah.
And that was kind of cool. And I realized, man, I really like that. Here it is. By the end of the day, I think you'll hear the spot here today. And this was on a 1 o'clock phone call last night. But that's not how it usually goes.
No.
Somebody calls in, how does it work? When's the spot going to play? And when are you guys there? And like, all right, I get where you're at, and I will answer some of these phone calls, but I don't consider you in the consideration stage of the funnel.
Right.
You just know who we are. But then there are people coming in, well, how long would it take? Do you guys do the ads? I mean, very specific questions. I mean, they're almost like ready to buy when they come in.
Right.
They're already coming in at the consideration stage. How do you tell the difference?
Well, I think you said it with your caller, right? So they called and they asked about pricing, but they tipped you off to the timing. So if you're smart about that and you're just listening to that, you can give them pricing and move on your way. But they mentioned that things have to move relatively fast, and that is a big indicator when they ask, when can you start? How long does it take? Those types of questions. They're ready to buy because they are under a time crunch, right? So there's a difference between pricing and time. When we've talked about cost and time and everything else through this podcast for many, many episodes, but timing is a key indicator that they are ready to go. So if they tell you that, oh, well, we're just putting a plan together for 2027, the fall, let's say Q3 of 2027, and we're in the summer of 2026, that they're not in any hurry. They've got time. They're not pressed. But if they're calling you and telling you we've got a week or we've got 2 weeks before this event happens, I think you were smart on that and literally saying this happens now or it's not happening at all. Like, let's work together on this to make sure that we get you to where you need to be. So that's what we mean by they can ask for price, but you listened. You did it very well. You listened for the time constraint, and you said, okay, they're under pressure. They're looking to buy now. It's not just an information gathering at this point. So you were quick to take them from that consideration set to purchasing and being a customer simply by the way they express themselves on that call.
So one of the things that, basically by doing this podcast and taking all of Matt Hansen's classes in the MBA program, it made me realize that, we need a process. We need a marketing department. I've been selling here a lot of money comes in just based on my relationships. Mm-hmm. And I've been able to do that, and we provide a great product, but I don't really have to go out and create awareness because people already have it. And really what I have to do is create and get them into that second level of the funnel. But I've exhausted that. I've exhausted my relationships, and they're paying every year, and they're excited, and they like the product. And some of them are like, I'm not telling anybody else because it's such a good product at such a low price.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So we're going back right now to retool everything using your lessons, using the funnel. And so the one thing that I would say regarding what salespeople need to notice is that at some level, it has to come to you. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? And I try to tell my guys, well, we're going to, let's call this person and let's try to sell them. I go, no. We're better off using your method, which is do really good marketing, create great awareness. You might make a few contacts of people that but a lot of times it will come to you. And it is a lot different when that phone call comes to you versus you making that phone call.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, if you're if you're just calling people trying to sell them on things, you got to realize like we're going through a variety of things every single day, right? So, whether it's the 10,000 emails that I've got or the 7 meetings that I've got, the 3 proposals that need to go out. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. Your kids are calling, they need something, right? Like there's all of these things going on in a day. And if you're calling somebody and disrupting that, they're going to have more of a negative feeling toward that. So if somebody is calling you, following up, hey, I've seen your ads everywhere. I want to get more information on this. You start asking those questions. It's a conversation, right? Like if you're calling them, you're breaking up their day. And no matter how many questions you ask them, they're going to feel that way unless they have a significant need right at that point, right? So if you called this person that you just sold, odds are, yeah, they would have taken that phone call and you probably would have sold them on that. But think about how many people are sitting at their desk or in their store or, in their office.
Or more and more at their home.
Right. Or just sitting there and going, oh, you know what? I wish somebody would call me and sell me on this. That's very rare. And so what we're saying is when people call you, and I get it that there's a lot of people out there going, well, how do I get more of that? And that's a different podcast episode. But
we've gone through that many times
right.
about creating awareness at the top of the funnel. Right. You got to spend some money. You got to spend some time on that. But the call has come in.
Right. So the call comes in, and you again, you've got to listen to the questions the way that they're coming in. And I have worked with, I get pulled into our sales students when they go to competition, and I come in as the wild card. I don't necessarily teach them sales, but about 2 weeks, 3 weeks before they go, they bring me in as the buyer, and I throw the real world at them. And it's funny because I start asking questions and they don't pick up on the questions. And I go, here, stop. I just threw you a buying question. And, and we start to walk through all of these things. I go, you have to understand the difference between information questions and buying questions. If I'm just gathering information, I'm not buying today. I'm just collecting it. I'll probably give you, I have to talk with my other partner. I need more time to think about this. Let's circle back, which is I love that. Let's circle back in 2 weeks and, we'll see where we're at. Those are all push-offs, right? So listen for the buying question. And if you can hit on something in that conversation where you get a buying question out of them, go down that path. And it's funny, I was working with a student this past spring, and, it was the automotive aftermarket that they were selling in. And I used to be in the automotive aftermarket for a magazine that I sold or that I worked for. And, I was giving them real world scenarios of how this was playing out. And one of the guys watching actually stopped me. He goes, are you making this up or did you actually live this? I go, this is all real. You picked the perfect person to sit here. And I said, what are you picking up on this? And I'm like, well, you know a lot about it. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for the buying questions. I've told you I have an issue here. Here's another issue with the industry. And here's the biggest issue that's causing me problems right now. And I didn't mention price at any of them because price is irrelevant.
All right, well, let's talk about price questions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always about price. I mean, if somebody wants to call in and they ask, let's go back to that. I get a lot of, well, how much is it? That's it. That's all they want to know. How much is it? And as soon as that is the first question, I can tell you remember how you talk about, and you could apply this to your own business if you want or your own marketing department, but we've learned to abide by what you keep bringing it up in a consciousness sort of way that you get 80% of your money from 20% of your clients. And for the most part, you're going to spend way more time with the other 20% of the money. So in other words, with
right.
your smaller client and with your haggling over price and, oh, I don't like this spot. And I personally, and I mean, I don't want to color anybody's small business perspective, but this is from being in the field for a lot of years, is that it never really gelled for me that I don't want that client.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're like, people are like, oh, you never got back to me. I go, well, you got my phone number if you want to call me, and here you can buy on the website. These are all real options, but I know you. I want it cheaper, or I know that you require 3 months. Well, I just want to do it for a month. I mean, you start getting all of that. It's like, hey, listen, no, whatever. You just go to the website. You can buy it if you want, and I appreciate your phone call. Thank you. Bye. Now, when does that small to medium-sized business salesperson or owner, if they're sole proprietor, when do they know when? I don't know what moment you would reach, but it's a realization point that it's the Matt Hansen 80-20 rule, and I don't want this 20.
Well, there's a couple ways to look at this, right? So you're taking it from the Pareto principle, which is 80-20, and that 80% of your business comes from 20% of your customers, and the headaches, 80% of your headaches come from 20% of your
It's 80-20, 20-80.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you can look at it from that point of view, but let's look at it from a different point of view. So somebody calls you and says, hey, what's the price? Oh, that's too much. Okay, I can give it to you for $1. How about that? Oh, I'd love that. Okay, that's great. We're going to run it one time. Well, that's not going to do anything. Well, that's what you're paying for. There's $1. Now, if you want to work together and you really want to get some results, let us work together and let's buy the package that we know works, and let's go down that path. So if you want to compare us on price, that's fine. There's many options. Please go compare on price. But, the way we look at this is we've built our packages because we know that they work for our best customers. And if you want to be one of our best customers, this is where we're heading. Otherwise, they'll sell you an ad for $1, and we'll see how that works, because I guarantee you it's not going to do anything. Now, I know that seems a little, combative. And I'm not saying to go out there and sell it that way. But
you have taught me to be combative. I'll be honest with you. I used to take everything.
Yeah.
And that actually cost me money. Oh, I sold this guy for $900, and he wants a proposal. Oh, he wants a PO number. Oh, they don't like their spot. Oh, they want us to rewrite the spot. Oh, they want us to re-record it. Oh, blah, blah. Now we got to put it on TV. I mean, you could almost tell in that initial phone call. I used to take them all, but now I'm like, I agree with the Pareto principle, and I want to stay with it 80% of the money.
Yeah. No, and it makes sense, right? So, when people start going down the pricing route, the way I look at this is I always say to everyone, if you would pay me 10% of revenue that you bring in, and I can take all your marketing problems away, would you do it? I'm like, absolutely. I go, okay, then why are we talking about price? Like, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. If I'm taking your problems away and I'm producing what you are looking to do, that's a good thing, right? Is my offer, is my product, is my service, whatever it may be, is it providing value to you? What you're saying, if you're coming in here and undermining it, is basically saying, like, you don't value the service that we offer because you don't want to pay for it. And I think it's funny because, I see Hormozy out there posting all the time about, support, pay full price for the people that you know, and ask for the discount from people that you don't. But it's always the opposite, right? So I'm sure you get this, and I get this occasionally, where somebody will call me up and like, oh, I know you, like, can you give me a deal? And, my wife does that too. She's, I'll tell her, I'm like, oh, I'm talking with so-and-so. She's like, can you get us a deal? I'm like, it doesn't work that way, right? Like, support those and realize that pricing it's not about pricing. It's about getting what you're looking for. And pricing is the go-to because it's the only thing that people understand until they're led down a different path.
Episode 160, what great salespeople notice. I don't even like that word, salespeople, but it is what it is. And what customers reveal through their questions. Certainly, we've gone through pricing questions and how to basically, it's basically product market fit discussion that you're coming back to them is like, hey, here's what the cost is, here's what the results are, and we know this game, and this is how it is. If you want to do price, go ahead, please do that. So let's finish with that. Okay. All of a sudden, they're talking comparison about your prices. Mm-hmm. So they're not saying you're not comparison shopping. You're comparing, I don't know, I guess, comparison.
Yeah, option
right?
A, option B.
Yeah, option A, option B. When they get to that point, well, God, what about this one? What's most popular? Blah blah blah. What do you tell them then?
I think you go back to the initial questions that you have with them. What are you looking to do? What are the needs that you really have? I mean, we've got option A, we got option B, we got option C, and they're different tiers, they're different packages, whatever they may be. And how many, you've done this. I've gone to a website and I've looked at different options. I was doing it yesterday. I was looking at okay, well, I think I was on Stripe's website and I was comparing it on some things. And, you start going, okay, well, if this one is, and I think with Stripe, it was like $49 or $150 or something. I don't remember exactly, but you start looking at it and go, all right, well, at $0 to $49, what additional value am I getting? From $49 to $150, what am I getting? And if people are asking you the question like, well, what's the difference between the packages? It means that your marketing is broken. It means that your website is broken, that your marketing materials are broken, or that your salesperson has not clearly defined what the differences between the packages are. And those are things that you need to listen to. So if people are going, I don't like, what's the difference between these two packages? There's a million different things that they've just said to you. One of them is, I'm comparing these two. The second is, I'm willing to go to the second one, but I got to justify how much it is. And 3, I don't understand what I'm getting. Like, what is different in package 2 versus package 1? And, if you listen to that, you go back and go, okay, well, understand package 1 is, our base. It's, you get all of these features, which are really great features. Most people are happy with these, but where are you going? What are you trying to do? And we've had this conversation at this point because it's a sales call or it's in person, and you understand that these 3 other things in option 2 will actually help them get to where they want to be faster. So you say to them, option 2 actually has these 3 features. And from what we've talked about, that's going to help you get to where you need to be faster than if you just do option 1 and try and duct tape it together. By going with option 2, we'll green light this and things will happen much faster and you get to where you need to be. So it's well worth the cost because, if you're spending an additional $49 per month, when you look at that over the year, I mean, you're spending $500. Are you going to make more than $500 with using those 3 features? Well, of course you are. Okay, well then it's a no-brainer. Let's go with option 2, right? And those are the things where when they're comparing pricing and they're comparing options, you have to walk back to their needs, their wants, their demands, and that's really important.
He is Matt Hansen. I'm Jim Delo. This has been episode 160 of Mastering Local Marketing. It is always, for now, produced by Adriana Alvarez, who just got her undergraduate, and she had to get out of college here at Purdue Northwest. She had to take Matt Hansen's podcasting course. So this is an automatic shameless plug for Adriana and her podcast network, which is growing. All you got to do is go to Adriana with 2 N's at WJOB1230.com if you want to have your own Mastering Local Marketing. Thanks to both of you. Thanks to you for listening and watching. Till next time, see you later.
I'm a victim of being ran over by a semi while I was flagging. The person wasn't paying attention and they hit me with their vehicle.
I seen a accident where we were the first people to walk up, and that picture will never leave my mind.
I've seen people get hit before. It's been horrible.
Construction zones on roadways and bridges are more than just cones and equipment. They're the workplace for thousands of dedicated union laborers.
Everybody has a family that they need to get back home to, so please just pay attention to us out here while we're working.
We all have family, and I know it's a pain in the ass, but we're trying to make the roads better for y'all.
We're doing this for everyone.
We're hardworking Hoosiers, just like you, and we all want to make it home safely.
People would just take a couple seconds to pay attention.
Be aware of where we're at, where the cone zones are at.
We're all in this together, and we're all just trying to be safe.
This is Brian Short, Business Manager for the Indiana Laborers District Council. Everyone deserves a safe place to work. Do your part in the cone zone. Slow down, save a life. We're all in this together.
A message from Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Are you sausage curious?
Who's ready for Poland?
Big Frank Sausage has the very best Polish food in the region.
You had a mouthful of Big Frank sausage?
We have a full bar, dine-in, carry-out, delivery, and catering available.
I've had a mouthful of Big Frank sausage.
I've got a mouthful
full of Big Frank sausage.
219-378-9556. Smacznego i na zdrowie.
Who's ready for Polish?
It's the simplest expression. The smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up. Apologizes. And welcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Thank you.
Strachan Van Til, where making life easier starts with a smile.
Are you searching for a college where you belong? Calumet College of St. Joseph wants to know you and give you the support you need to succeed. Are you worried about how you'll pay for your degree? 95% of our students receive financial aid, including scholarships and grants. Need some extra help with your classes? You'll benefit from our small class sizes, free tutoring, internship planning, faculty mentors, and so much more. Come experience our accepting, supportive college family for yourself. Schedule your campus visit and apply at ccsj.edu.
Life's biggest challenges don't come with a warning. When legal issues arise, whether it's a car accident, personal injury, criminal charge, or representing you before municipal boards, you need a trusted advocate on your side. At Westland & Bennett, we listen first because your story matters. We provide strategic, personalized legal solutions to protect your rights, your freedom, and your future. Peace of mind starts with a conversation. Call 219-440-7550 today for a free consultation.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Mastering Local Marketing Podcast. And we're just going to continue the last episode, which was what great salespeople notice and what you pick up on, what you've been in the field, you've seen, what you've maybe read about, that kind of thing. But we're going to go through it with Matt Hansen. He is a professor of digital marketing, and he is the star of this podcast. Matt, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Nobody mentions this, but the objection a customer gives you is often not the objection stopping the sale. They may talk about price, timing, or needing to think about it, while the real concern stays hidden. Great salespeople learn to listen for what customers are reluctant to say. Why are we doing 2 episodes on what great salespeople notice?
Because we're going to do 3 overall. Well, so, again, people talk to me about sales all the time, and I see really bad salespeople pretty often. And they don't listen. They're just, it's constant. It's probably because my wife and I had a conversation about potentially going and getting another car, and that's start dealing with salespeople and all that. And it's funny because most people hate dealing with the sales process, but I actually love it because really good salespeople excite me, and really bad salespeople excite me because the really bad ones I can actually play with, and the really good ones I can literally look at them and I'm pleased to deal with they're listening. They really understand the needs that I have. And when we talk about objections, it's huge. I mean, you're going to put stuff out there, and I do these on purpose many times. And, a lot of people are probably like, you're awful for this, but this is science to me. I love to kind of see where people are going to go. And there's an old movie, and I cannot remember. I think it was called Boiler Room. And this guy's sitting at home, and he gets a phone call as he's eating a cereal in the morning, and it's a guy trying to sell him on the newspaper. And he gives him like one line, and he goes, no, I don't need it. And he's like, okay, well, thank you, sir. And he goes, whoa, wait a minute. That's your sales pitch? Like, that's what you're selling me on? He's like, come on, give me something more, right? And so he goes through this whole process, and he's telling him how great it is and, how it compares to the other newspaper that's out there. And he throws a few things out there to kind of, I don't necessarily read the news. And, and it's all this kind of, he goes back and forth. And in the end, he goes, now that was a great sales pitch. And the guy goes, all right, so you're going to buy? And he goes, no, I get my news elsewhere. And he hangs up on him. But it was just funny because, just to listen to it, you went from a horrible sales pitch to a really good one. And not everyone's going to buy. We all know that. But we're going to go through a series of, objections that people go through. And, we're just going to talk about that. Not I've gone through, when I buy a car, I talk to as many dealerships as possible because I want to see who's listening. I don't want them trying to push me on something. I'm not buying $7,500 in accessories. I'm not buying your crazy financing. I'm not doing any of this stuff. But if you just listen, right? I will walk in and give them, here are 2 things that I'm looking for. Make this happen, and I'm walking out of here with a car. And those are things that you need to listen to. And now I get it that not everyone's like that, but everyone provides very, very similar objections to what they're talking about. Or what they're trying to go out there and buy.
How about this objection? Let me think about it.
Yeah, that's always fun, right? So I'm getting out of here. Let me think about it. Okay, well, you haven't done your job at that point because they don't understand why it's going to value them and why they're going to be better off buying what you're selling. Maybe they just don't understand what you're selling, right? I'm going to go back. I'm going to think about it. The real question is, okay, and what is it that I have not accomplished today to make you understand the value that we're selling? What is it that you're still concerned about, confused about? How can I help solve that? If I were to solve one thing right now, what would that be? And they'll usually tell you what it is. And it's not about, having to go and think about it. It's usually not about price. It's about something else that they've thrown out there that now you can have a real conversation about. And, you know, when they say, I need some time, let me go talk about it, you know, those are, it's kind of like the missing decision maker that you get as well, right? Like, I need to go talk to my boss, or I need to go talk to somebody else. Okay.
Oh, I as soon as I hear
you get that all the time.
The third party thing.
Yep.
I'm like, all right, you know, I got a lot to do. I'm not. We're going back to the Pareto principle.
Right.
As soon as someone says, well, you know, let me talk to my accountant, or let me talk to the CFO or something. As soon as they third party that, every once in a while, in my mind, you have to take it as a rejection, and you can either come back with, you know, trying to convince them of the value, or you can realize that, you know, come on, man, it's just let them go their own way. I mean, anymore, we get so many inquiries, I just let them go. But you might not always have that option. Well, I'm not a big one on that third part. Oh,
sure.
I got to talk to this one. Yeah, all right, go ahead. See you, bye.
Yeah. Well, see, and the way I look at that is I would come back and say, well, you know them best, and you know what they're going to be asking for. And it sounds to me like I may need to get some more information for them. So how would you like it if I could put that together? You know, what do you expect them to push back on? What are some of the concerns that they're going to have from their perspective? What are they looking for? And I know you're kind of shaking your head like you wouldn't do that.
I'm shaking my head because the next bullet point here is that the wall is up.
Okay.
And when you're in that high quantity business and I run how many media now? Mm-hmm. I don't, if somebody's wall is up, the amount of work and resources to go from awareness to consideration, unless you could kind of sense that it's a very large number, is not worth it. They're in that 20% that's going to cost you 80% of your time. You have to class it. In my mind, you don't want to do that. You want to show how to bring somebody around and show them value and what a good salesperson would want to say. But I go back to my trading days.
Okay.
You do a trade, and as soon as you know that trade's no good, you got to get out of it. You can't hope and wait and try to make it a better job. Just poof, out.
True, but if you're making $100 on that trade, or you're making $100,000 on that trade, you're going to react differently.
No, it's the same principle. Always out. If it's a big trade and it doesn't smell right to you, out. If you buy a small trade, doesn't smell right to you, out. Then you're in the game again. I could play again.
No, I understand.
So, I mean, I'm bringing a different perspective. Maybe you're talking about, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 calls a week and clients, and they've already gotten there. They're probably already at the consideration stage. I'm talking about a much higher level volume business, or a higher level thing about trading is the market teaches you, as soon as it smells no good, boom. And you have taught that in your classes with the Pareto principle, but now you're kind of like maybe showing another side to that.
Well,
I go back to out. As soon as it's no good, out.
Well, looking at your business, if somebody calls in and they're wanting to spend $99 or they're wanting to spend $100,000, those are 2 different conversations. So if their wall is up and they're I'm not quite sure. I've heard about you from other people. Let's say it's a major publicly traded company that calls you up and says, we would love to do some work with you. Can you give us some, an advertising package and tell us what you guys can do for us? And you come back and, whatever. Well, all right, I don't know. We're going to think about it. And the first thing that I would say is, okay, what else are we looking for here? What did I not answer? And we'll go through all of those things. And then the last thing that I would say is, you know what? I've got a couple other clients that are in the same boat, just like you. Would it be okay if I passed along your phone number? They could give you a call just to kind of see how that's working with them. So you can see, not from us, but have them give you a buzz and just let them know, like, you guys can compare notes. And I've done that plenty of times, and I've gotten a ton of business by doing that. And it's just because, like, if your customers are really good business partners, which is what it should be, they would have no problem with that. And I get that all the time. Like, I will do that for other businesses that I'm dealing with. They'll ask me, like, can you take a phone call for me? It's a potential customer, huge customer for us. I'll make it worth your while. Like, they just want to talk to you about how it is doing business with us. Absolutely. Have them give me a call, right? You're more inclined to get that business, but you realize, like, if they don't know you from anybody else, that wall is going to be up. I mean, let's face it, we're human beings. We're resistant to putting ourselves in danger. So, I get where you're going with the clients and customers and all of that cause issues. I've got a few that I work with that.
And you will not cut bait. I know you. You don't cut bait.
I do, actually.
Oh, come on.
do.
I hear you sitting here and we have very candid conversations that are confidential. And I would just say that without mentioning anything specific, I feel as if there's anything I could offer you.
Yeah.
And it's very little, because you have just completely changed our businesses, allowed me to go in other areas, and I appreciate it immensely just by doing this podcast and taking your classes. But if there was anything I learned at the Board of Trade that I could bring to you or through this business, is that you have to cut bait right away. It keeps you in the market and focused where you need. If you're over here dinkering around, and I see you dinkering around, and you come in and you're all harried on your face, I'm like, what's going on? Oh, this, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, why are you doing that, man? You got a great life. You do not have to deal with the 20% that causes you 80% of your attention.
I think you're right.
Am I wrong in bringing that up to the master?
No, so going back years, I used to take every phone call. I used to take every meeting and everything like that.
Me too.
And now, at this point, I'm not chasing anymore. I'm not, like, I have my clients that I want to work with.
I'm glad that you brought up, this is the fundamentals.
Yeah.
But now you're talking real world and being candid.
Sure.
And you used the word that I was looking for, chasing.
Yeah. Yeah, well, no, and I used to chase. But, you also got to realize, too, and there's probably listeners out there today that are going, yeah, I have to chase because I got to put food on the table. And that's a different story. But, once you get to a point, now every business when they first start is trying to get as many customers.
Everybody chases in the beginning.
Of course. But you get to a point, and it's funny because you'll get to a point where you can start to select the customers that you want to work with. You don't want to deal with the headaches. And I've had, me personally, I've kind of had that realization over the last 2 years that somebody calls me and they want to do, $1,000 consult. I'm like, no, it's not.
That's not it.
By the time it's not there, right? But if somebody calls me and says we want to do a $50,000 consult and want to work with you for the year, okay, we'll have a conversation, right? And I know those are drastically different numbers and they may not fit our listeners' numbers, but it took me years to get to there, right? Like, so my consulting agency, this is 17th year that we've been in business, and we've gone down a road, and now the clients that I work with are huge clients, and we're doing amazing things, and that's the fun part. But you're right though about chasing, and I think we're getting a little off topic, but chasing is when you're in your infancy of your business, you have to chase, but at some point you don't want to chase anymore, and you want to make it easy, but you are also leaving some money on the table if you're not chasing some of the bigger fish that could convert to that 80-20 that we talked about.
We are off topic.
Yeah.
But the people that listen and tell me that they listen and watch it, they want that from your life or from my life, what we have seen. And I'm basically at a point where you're at, where it's like, listen, I want as many clients as possible to sell them advertising. We have a great product. The product market fit is what I've been going after for a long time. And I think we kind of got a lot closer than we were 2 or 5 or 20 years ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
once you have that, so we're talking about past the chase stage. Yes, you have to chase in the beginning. You have to go everywhere. You have to call people. You have to lower your prices. You have to be aggressive. You have to be that person that you didn't even sometimes think you were gonna be. But at some point, you have to grow. You actually have to pivot off of that person. Am I?
Yeah. No, you
I didn't
follow
mean
the
to,
money.
hold your feet to the fire on that. But to me, I think it's just a realization now of cut bait, cut your losing trade now. Yeah. And if you're that buyer, then perhaps you have to think about that sometimes. Yeah. You don't, why am I getting such high prices? Well, I'm being a baby about
being difficult.
Yeah, I'm being difficult, right?
Yep.
And I think in years past, being difficult was kind of how it was supposed to be. You were supposed to be a difficult person from North Hammond, and you're going to be like, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, listen, I don't have to deal with you. Like, I can't get anybody to put a roof on. Well, look in the mirror, pal. But anyways, that's a different story. We did get off. All right, so let's go back to some of the stuff about they don't want to tell you. I mean, they just don't have enough money sometimes.
Yep.
They're afraid of making a mistake. They don't trust you.
Yeah.
I mean, those are all things that you could address.
Well, let's go to the mistake, right? So if you don't know anything, you bring up your HVAC buddy a lot, right? And then we've talked about him. And if you don't know anything about HVAC systems and you have somebody come out and you have a single person give you a quote, and let's say it's, I'll just give you a number, $12,000 for a new HVAC system to your house. You're going to look at that and go, wow, that's a lot of money. No frame of reference to prices. Are they selling me a good unit? Do they know what they're talking? Is this thing going to last me 5 years, or is it going to last me 25 years, right? Like, I don't know any of this stuff. And the wall is up again, going back to it, right? And you have to realize that people are putting trust into that. So they may call 2 or 3 different places, and you're going to get prices all over the place, right?
AI could tell them now.
Yeah. So you'll get prices all over the place. So, let's say you get one that's $8,000, one that's $12,000, one that's $15,000. What does that tell you? Well, there's one that's cheaper, but, human beings at that point are sitting there going, well, why is it so much cheaper? Is it going to support the square footage in my house? Is it going to keep my house as cool? It's 147 today outside here. Is our house going to stay?
And inside here.
Yeah. No, but that's what I mean. Like, is it, all of these questions, we worry about making a mistake. Now, if you're the salesperson, you're walking them through and going, okay, you're going to please go out there and shop. You're going to get a variety of different prices.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Right.
Because if you are feeling that this is a possible client, you're encouraging them to look at other options.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Go out there, and if you want to base it strictly on price, please go with the lowest option. If it's us, great. If it's not, completely understand. But also realize that there's a variety of other issues that will pop up. Maintenance, the ability to get people to come out and fix things, the warranty, how many square feet this unit is going to take care of. Are there certain parts that are covered under warranty and certain parts that aren't? Right? There's all of these different things that are going to come up. Do we have any, testimonials? Do we have anyone that you can talk to that has worked with us? If I'm bringing down the wall by having a conversation with them about, I'm showing you my cards, 100%. And if you go with us, great. We'll be here on Monday and we'll put that, the unit in for you. But if not, next time, if something happens, if the unit that you buy that's cheaper fails and you can't get them to come out, give us a call. We'll take care of you at that point, and we'll see you then. But we would love to have your business. Now, that's a different sales message than just writing it up. Here's your proposal. Here's the price. Give us a call when you're ready to decide. If I have to choose between those two, I may spend more money, because I feel more comfortable with that one individual. I know that they're going to be there, and I've worked with HVAC people in the past, and I've got one that has installed an HVAC system that I couldn't, as soon as something happened, couldn't get them to come back. And I've got another that literally will contact me yearly and asking me if there's any issues, right? So when you start looking at it and somebody says, who do you know for HVAC systems? I'm not recommending the first one, let's be honest, right? So there's a variety of goodwill that goes along with trying to break down those walls, and you're going to sell more if you can realize that there's a trust issue there. So that listen for it, and whether they're saying it costs too much, or I need to think about it, or whatever it may be, break down those walls by just being you and being honest and kind of opening those things up. You'll sell more, you'll get better clients, you'll get better customers, and they'll be more likely to actually, give you testimonials and speak your praises to the world.
He's Matt Hansen. I'm Jim Dietl. I'm a media guy, own a number of media now, and she is Adriana Alvarez, the producer and the manager of the WJOB Podcast Network. If you want your own podcast, you go to Adriana with 2 N's at WJOB1230.com. Just send her an email and even tell her, hey, she's doing a good job, or if you have any ideas. Matt and I just record, and then we leave, and that's it. And she does the rest. Thanks a lot to you, Matt. Thanks a lot to you, Adriana. But mostly thanks a lot to you, listener, viewer. And until next time, see you later.
Planting a tree, installing a fence, whether your project is big or small, NIPSCO reminds you to know what's below and contact 811 at least 2 full business days before doing any digging so that utility companies can mark the location of their underground lines. Contacting 811 is free, and it's the law. Avoid possible penalties, costly repairs, or injuries. DIY or a pro, safety is in your hands. Every dig, every time.
It's the simplest expression, the smallest thing that changes